We're back with Ambassador Khovaev. Ambassador, granted, Russia has no intention of threatening or intimidating anyone. But you'll have to admit that objectively, your achievement, your breakthrough, as you put it, is scaring some nations, some powerful nations. What do you need to do to assure them that they shouldn't be scared?
Oh, I'm very sorry, but I can, if you ask me, so I can give them only one advice.
Yes.
Please be guided by common sense.
It's not so common.
Not by outdated cliches, not by ridiculous obsession, but common sense must prevail. And another political fundamental rule, especially it's relevant especially for the foreign policy. Never overestimate your own capabilities and never underestimate the capabilities of your opponents.
Well said. Think so. Now, let's cut to the chase. Let's go to the latest incident. The United Kingdom is making much of the Skripal incident in Salisbury. I wrote a column on this last Friday where I said that no hard evidence has been offered to indicate where the poison Novichok came from. But the Prime Minister of Britain was so categorical in blaming Russia without any proof. But the phrase used, it is highly likely that Russia was responsible. And I had the opportunity to say that we needed a smoking gun, not a speculative statement that it's highly likely Russia did it. I think Boris Johnson said it's absolutely likely. So it's still in the neighborhood of likelihood. There is yet no proof, but already you are being blamed. And of course, you had this exchange of expulsions of diplomats already. What else is going to happen here, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, to be frank, I'm not able to predict our future. But of course, I would like to take this opportunity to make our assessment for what's happening now in the United Kingdom and in the field of relationship between Russia and the United Kingdom, and to some extent between Russia and British allies. What's happening now is outrageous and absolutely unacceptable. Actually, the United Kingdom demanded Russia to prove its own innocence. So one of the fundamental pillars of the Western political and judicial culture, presumption of innocence,
Yes.
was replaced with a presumption of guilt.
Yes.
We will never accept it. And we'll never allow anyone to talk with us, to talk to Russia in the language of ultimatums, insults, and all other absolutely unacceptable things. So our position is very simple. We consider the incident in Salisbury as a very serious one. So if we can believe the British side, because we have no reason to believe them. Because as you have just mentioned, they haven't produced any evidence, any proof so far. But they have already made a bulk of accusations. And Russia is like a scapegoat. Russia is guilty for anything. And there is no need to prove the guilt of Russia. So, what's happened there on the British soil? It's a very serious incident because it's an attempt to use chemical weapons It should be fully investigated. And Russia is, more than any other country, is interested in conducting, as soon as possible, a comprehensive investigation of that incident. We have nothing to hide. Moreover, I would like to remind you that 2 Russian citizens suffered from that. The victims are Russian citizens. And we have all rights to get information on their condition of what's happened there. But the British side, it denied the access of Russian consular officers to our citizens. It's an obvious violation of the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations of 1963. So we insist on a full-scale investigation of this incident in full compliance with the international law, namely the Convention on the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. So the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons is the only international mechanism which is authorized to conduct such investigations. I would like to remind you that even Scotland Yard's officials, they said in public that the investigation process will take weeks or even months. So we demand all countries, everyone should refrain from any conclusions, from any assessments until the investigation process is fully completed.
Who are in
That's our position. And we believe that this position is well-founded. And I hope our Filipino partners, to understand us correctly, because your country also suffered a lot from accusations, allegations made without proper investigation.
Who are in the technical secretariat of the OPWC, which will investigate?
So as far as I know, the technical secretariat has already sent a group of experts to the Great Britain 2 weeks after the incident, by the way. Before that, the British side had an opportunity to send a legal request to Russia in order to request all relevant information available to us. But they did nothing. They prefer to accuse us in public and, and even to insult us. So nobody has a right to insult us.
Aren't they obliged
like it's being done by the British Prime Minister and British Minister of Foreign Affairs, who even compared Russia with the Nazi Germany. It's outrageous. It's unforgivable.
Among the information that were sent out by the British government on that incident, what were facts that you can agree with?
So may I kindly ask you to elaborate your idea?
Yeah,
Your
of course,
question.
most information
They
are
said
just
many
accusations.
things.
Many things. They said many things. What are facts?
Is there anything
Is
you
there
can
anything
agree
that
with
you agree with?
among the things they said?
We agree with the fact that it's a very serious incident. And it must be fully investigated.
Were they spy?
Of course, one of the victims is a former Russian intelligence officer.
But
And what else?
but spy can change loyalty. Is it a fact? Do you know? Do you have information where they are working for or for whom they are working for?
Yes, of course, Mr. Skripal. So it was he was recruited many years ago by the British intelligence service.
MI6.
Yes, right. It's an open secret. Everybody knows that.
And he was jailed
For us, he has. So he can create no threat to the security of my country. Absolutely.
And what they are spying?
Of course, we disdain him because he's a traitor.
Yeah.
and he sold the state secrets of Russia to the British side for money. Not for democratic values, for money. He could have sold the same secrets to any other interested party, including terrorist organizations. So we have no reason to respect him. But it doesn't mean that it's in our interest to kill him. It's absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely. Moreover, his daughter, Yulia, she's a Russian citizen. She didn't commit anything bad. And of course we are very concerned. What's happening to her? We don't know even the name of hospital where these two people are being treated now, where they are kept now.
The reports don't mention the name of the hospital.
And nobody saw them. What's happened to them? Please show them. What's happened? Please provide us with at least basic information.
And your consular officers are barred from having access?
Yes, absolutely.
You don't have any diplomats anymore in London at this point?
No, we have diplomats, of course. We still have diplomatic mission in London, and there is still the British embassy in Moscow.
Okay.
But of course,
23
as you understand, any hostile action against my country will be properly retaliated. That's beyond doubt. We are able to defend our dignity, but we prefer a dialogue. We believe that it's in our common interest to fully investigate what's happened there. And those who did that, who committed that crime, must be brought to justice. There is nothing to discuss in this respect, in our view. But instead of that, instead of objective approach to investigation, we see a Russophobia, Russophobe propaganda campaign launched by the British government and Western mass media. A bulk of accusations and no evidences, no proofs. Absolutely.
The Russian ambassador to the UN has raised one question, which has to be raised again. Cui bono? Who benefits from all this? What is your analysis, Mr. Ambassador?
Oh, my analysis is very simple. I don't see any benefit for my country.
Precisely.
Moreover, I see only a lot of damage. So our main question, who is interested to inflict damage on Russia? If we answer this question, so we'll know who committed that terrible crime.
So dead man tell no tales.
Okay, we'll get back to that after a little while.